Tree Talkin Time is brought to you by Conkeys Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talkin Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Welcome back to another episode of Tree Talkin Time. This episode is a little different than normal. Unlike most episodes where we hear from one person or maybe even a group of people that I've sat down and recorded with, this is going to be 3 different segments from each of the current sponsors for the podcast. So we're going to hear from Mark Booth from Southern Hound Hunting Magazine. We're going to hear from Danny Doobie of Full Cry Magazine and Zach Conkey from Conkeys Outdoors. I really urge you guys to go check out all of these sponsors. First, I love a print magazine. While I create a digital product with podcasts, with YouTube videos, there's just something about having a tangible magazine, something in your hands to be able to look at. And I think it's especially cool. You know, I have some old Full Cries from I think the 60s. I don't have anything older than that, but I've seen some. I think it's awesome to be able to go back and look at that stuff, read those articles and see those photos. And yeah, I realize today's photos are way better. Even your cell phone's better than what a lot of those photos were. But it's cool to look at those dogs from that time frame. And it's a snapshot of that. And so I think it's pretty cool. And we put a lot of photos and videos on the internet, but in 30, 40 years from now, for one, who knows what the internet's going to look like. But a lot of that stuff, I'm not saying it won't be there, but it's going to be buried and hard to find. So having actual print products, I think, immortalizes those dogs to an extent more so than digital. So I urge you to go check out those 2 magazines. And if you're in the market for any dog hunting supplies, go to Conkeys and get whatever you need. They are one of the best suppliers out there. There's a lot of good suppliers, don't get me wrong. But one of the things about the dog supply business is having people that will back up the products they sell, that will offer support, that are fast about getting things shipped out. And they're all of that. And they're a great family-run business. And while you're out there checking things out, head on over to treetalkin.com. There's numerous shirts on the site that you can purchase. There's just the classic logo tee with just the 2 dogs on a tree with Tree Talkin Time that are no particular breed. But then there's several breed shirts as well. So if you hunt a black and tan, if you hunt a leopard, if you hunt a red bone, if you hunt a walker, if you hunt a mountain cur, I'm trying to think if I forgot anything else. There's a breed shirt for all of them. Oh, and a blue tick. So while I do have the sponsors and they help carry a lot of the financial weight of this podcast, it doesn't cover everything. And so any support that you guys give me, whether it's purchasing a shirt, whether it's joining my Patreon, which I know is lackluster, but I appreciate everyone that has joined it and supported me for any amount of time. I'm going to try and get better about posting videos up there and creating more content there to make it actually worth it. But for anybody that has already supported me there, I really do appreciate it. Speaking of videos, if you have not already checked out the Tree Talkin Media YouTube channel, another place to go for more content. Every other week we're dropping a video on that. They drop on Fridays. The next video to drop is this Friday. So if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, you're listening to it on the 24th. The next video is the 27th. And it's a bear hunt. So make sure you go check that out. And there's several others already up there. And without further ado, I really hope you like this episode and you support these guys.
Me and Remy loaded up the dogs Friday morning and Saturday morning, but I had one get snake bit Friday morning.
Ooh.
Right in the face, too. And he was still running. I had to tell him when he crossed the road I wanted to catch him on, and Remy ran down the road to catch him, and She said, "Daddy, I think he got snake bit. His face was already starting to swell up, but he was still trying to run."
Mm. You know, these hounds never cease to amaze me. Just the grit that they have just to persevere through injuries and snake bites and stuff like that and still want to keep going.
I know. I mean, he was barking on the other side of the road, and I told him, and he did what he's supposed to. He's a year-old dog. I mean, he's still a young dog, but he's doing really good. And I mean, he was already swelled up when we called him there, but he was still barking.
Well, good. Hopefully, he makes something for you, despite the snake bite.
Yeah, I hope it don't mess him up any. I treated him with meds I had in the truck, got him home, gave him some other stuff, and I've been treating him all weekend, and he's finally just moved out of his face and gone down his chest like it'll do, but
okay.
He still looks pretty rough.
See, I've never had to deal with any of that. We don't really, like, there's some snakes up here, but it's not a real big thing down here around me.
Yeah. I think this is about my 6 or 7 snake bites, and thankfully they've all been moccasins.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Eastern Diamondback, it'll usually kill the hound, but
yeah,
everyone I've had so far has survived. So.
Well, good. Well, other than dogs getting snake bit, what else is new with Southern Hound Hunting Magazine and you?
Man, we're finally back in the print mode. I know everybody's been wanting to know where we've been, but after the hurricane, we were out almost 3 weeks without power, and I mean, we had 2 or 3 months worth of cleanup here where we live because the hurricane went directly over us. And
yeah,
I mean, that put us way behind the 8 ball. And then, as most everybody knows, this is just something we do on the side is for our love for the sport. My wife and I are the only ones doing it. We have real jobs. And
yep.
I mean, my job has been crazy here lately, dealing with a bunch of stuff at the hospital and working a lot more than what I have in the last 5 or 6 years. And that's just kind of put a slowdown on things for us, unfortunately. But we have a magazine. We have a magazine at the printer, and it should be shipping out the end of this week.
Good.
And got some good content in it, some good pictures as usual, and excited for everybody to see the cover picture. I think everybody will enjoy the cover photo on this one.
Good.
Some
I'm excited.
readers out of Florida sent to us, so we're excited to be back in it. And I've apologized to people back and forth, but sometimes life happens and you just can't help things.
Yeah, I was just talking to a guy. We were talking about magazines and hound hunting magazines versus like he's got some bird dogs as well, and he was talking about like gun dog and stuff. I'm like, well, a lot of these hound magazines, these guys aren't, doing this full time. There's no full time staff. These are side hustles. These aren't full time businesses that employ multiple people like Gundog. I love Gundog magazine. I think it's well put together, but man, the money behind that magazine is unreal when you compare it to the hound publications.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've subscribed to Gundog for several years, and it was obviously one of the inspirations I had for Southern hound hunting, and it's one of the better Gundog magazines out there.
Oh yeah,
and I love reading it, but like you said, we're not fully staffed. It's just my wife and I, and we drag our 12-year-old daughter in to help, stamp envelopes and stuff, renewal letters.
Adds character.
And she rides with me to put out magazines in stores locally, but we don't have a full-time staff, and we've got other things that we have to get done, unfortunately, because the real job to help pay the bills on the magazine.
I understand. Now, for anyone that's new and that doesn't know what Southern Hound Hunting Magazine is, why don't you give them like the elevator pitch? Like, what is Southern Hound Hunting Magazine?
All right. So September will be 7 years ago. I got this wild idea to start a dog hunting magazine. And initially, because I grew up in the deep South here in South Georgia, deer hunting with hounds, I was going to do nothing but deer hunting. But the more I got thinking about it, we do a lot more than that down here. So we cover anything from running deer to bear, hogs, and all the small game, whether you run in a pen or outside the wire for fox and coyotes, coon hunting, squirrel hunting, rabbits, you name it, we covered, including mountain lions. And the thing that we love about our publication the most is that it is a magazine by hunters for hunters.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have we have a couple professional writers in every issue doing stuff for us, but the majority of our content are just stories sent in by people like me and you.
Yep.
They'll call me on the phone or send me a message on social media and tell me they've got this great story about a bear hunt. And we'll work with them, get it magazine ready, and they'll send us the pictures. And it's just everyday hunters sending us their stories. And I think people really like that. It doesn't get technical. We're not pushing a ton of products.
Yep.
It's just like us sitting around hunting camp, telling each other about our day's hunt. Whether you killed a big buck or not, you've got stories to tell about your dogs. You've got stories to tell about your buddies, and a lot of lies to go in with that too. And
yep,
we cover a lot of that in the magazine. And obviously, me and you both have kids, and that's a big influence in our hunting careers right now. And
yeah,
we have a hound hunting kids section. Every issue has a kid story in it, whether it be their first deer, their first bear, or whether it be their 100th. I mean, if the kid's excited about killing it and they want to tell us their story, we're more than happy to share it. And I think everybody's favorite thing in the magazine is probably the brag pages.
Yeah.
So for each section, whether it's the deer, bear, hog, or small game or kids, everybody sends in their pictures from seasons past, and not everything's a trophy picture. I mean, I hate using that word anymore in today's climate, because we're not trophy hunters. We're doing it for the love of it. But whether it be, a 200-pound bear or a 4-point, or if it's just a picture of your hounds at work and you want to share your pictures of your hounds doing what they do best, rigging on the box, coming off the tailgate or on the tree at night on a coon.
Mm-hmm.
The game animal is not the main part of what we do. It's the hound work.
Yep.
And those brag pages share that every quarter when we put out a magazine, and people love to go on there and read about other people's adventures and see pictures of themselves, and especially the kids. They call me all the time, and they're always happy to see themselves in a magazine.
Yep, for sure. No, I know my kids have been very excited to see their pictures in a few magazines, and yours included.
Yeah, that's probably the most rewarding thing for me, and all the years we've been doing this so far is getting emails and messages on Facebook or Instagram, and saying, hey, my kid was in this issue, and they just stood by the door waiting on the mailman to come to get it and see it, and the look on their faces when they found themselves in there, I mean, that makes it all worthwhile. And that's what this sport's going to take, is those kids carrying on the tradition. And if we can help inspire them in any way to keep doing it, and if all it takes is putting their picture in a magazine, we're going to do that and keep that fire lit with them.
Yep. Now, if somebody does have a story they want to tell or some pictures, how do they submit that to you guys?
So you could either find us on Facebook at Southern Hound Hunting and send us a message, or you can email us at southernhoundhunting@gmail.com. Send us a quick email, tell us what you got, and some people will write us a 500 to 1,000 page story about it, and then I'll get in contact with them, and if we need more details, I've worked on the phone with several hours with people filling out the detail work on a good story. And um, so whatever, I mean, they could contact me through social media or email, and we can get the ball rolling on those.
Good deal. Yeah, that you just increased the workload significantly by what you described.
Oh yeah.
Instead of having professional writers write stories that know how to write and can tell all that, and they just submit it and they're done. Here you are working with people to try and get their stories, written down in a way that is in their voice, but at the same point can be read by everybody.
And that's my wife gets ready to kill me about every time we have to turn in content for the next issue, because she's the editor, because she's way better with the English language than I am and the grammar. But whether it's me or the hunter sending in the story, writing it up, she's got to go through it and try to at least make it presentable for magazine publication.
Yeah.
And she's been around me, I see, 26 years now. We've been dating since high school. So she is very familiar with the dog hunter lingo and the vernacular.
Yep.
But while she's trying to make it prim and proper, she does a really good job of keeping it and whoever wrote it's, language and the way they're telling the story so a dog hunter can understand it.
So I had somebody ask me to proofread something. It was actually for your magazine. And that was my hardest thing, is not taking it out of their voice. Because the way I would write something versus the way they wrote something was just vastly different. So I can empathize with your wife. Like, I would have a hard time. Because like I said, I'm not some great writer, editor, or anything, but I've written a few articles, and so that's why he asked me to read it, and I was like, yeah. And so I'm going through it, and I'm like, well, I would change this, but I know that's the way he talks, so you can't change it that way. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the hardest things for me, coming from the South down here. And we're sending magazines to 42 states and 4 countries now. Thank the Lord for that. But I'm getting magazine stories from across the country now where everybody talks a little bit different.
Exactly.
And, it carries across in the writing. So I have to try to figure out how to keep it in the way that they're saying it to fit the region that they're coming from. And that takes a lot of time and effort, and that's, just what makes it a labor of love for sure.
Yep.
But that's like our kids section this time. One of our pro staff guys' wife is a teacher, an elementary school teacher, and she gave her kids a writing assignment in her class, and 2 of the boys been dog hunting for deer, and they wanted to write their stories about that. And then they found out about the magazine, so they wanted their stories in it. So we got both of theirs in this upcoming issue. And we left it, verbatim as how they wrote it for their classroom assignment.
That's cool.
There's no use in changing that. The kid told their story word for word the way they wanted to. And some people will read it and say, man, I can't believe they published, this poor writing in here. But that's a kid's writing. Why not leave it just the way they wanted to tell it?
Yep. No, and when they look back at that, when they're, in their 20s and 30s, they're going to laugh. They're going to be like, I can't believe they published this. But at the same point, right now, it means all the world to them. So I think that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And we do a lot of work with people to get these stories ready and get them to the design team and get them to the printer. But to me, so far, it has been well worth it over the years. It's, like I said a while ago, it's a labor of love, but it's something we're passionate about. It's something we care about. And as long as we're able, we're going to keep doing it.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to the next issue. And like I said, I want to just get you on here for a quick update. If people are interested in subscribing to Southern Hound Hunting Magazine, where do they need to go?
they can go to southernhoundhunting.com. Our website has a subscribe link at the top of the homepage, or you can check out the store link and choose the 1 year, 2 year option. And we also have all of the past issues listed individually there. So if somebody just wanted to order a past copy to see what it's all about and get one of those and see if they want to subscribe yearly, they can do it that route.
That's awesome. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoy it. I know I've written a few articles. Heck, you were the first person to put one of my photos on the cover of your magazine, so I will always be grateful for that, Mark. And I just really appreciate you supporting this podcast and everything I do. And if you ever need anything from me, I'm always here. Just a phone call away.
Absolutely. You talk about that picture on that issue 7, if I recall right. I was looking for a nighttime tree picture because we had not had a good quality one yet, and I saw yours on Facebook, and I said, that's the next cover of my magazine. I said, that's the best nighttime picture I have found yet, and you were gracious enough to let us use it. We've had a good friendship since then, and I look forward to what we got in the future together.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time today, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Enjoyed talking with you.
I think talking about the move is pertinent because, obviously I know you wrote about it in your editorial, but if people are unaware, kind of maybe just explain that your access is not, you're not reachable at all times. Like, you're off grid.
We are not reachable at all times by any means. That is the short answer. So to get into here, I'm trying to think how far it is exactly. It's 9 river miles. So if you want to come in, you can float the river for 9 miles, but I think it's 24 miles out of here. But those 24 miles out of here back to town take about 2 hours. Right now they take 2.5 hours because there's a landslide and you have to detour around the landslide.
Jeez.
So it's a 2.5 hour drive to get out of here to go the 23 miles. So we're in the wild and scenic part of the Rogue River, which that was designated back in the 60s. And so there's no new roads, new infrastructure or anything. The only buildings we have are the ones that were there when it went to wild and scenic. And so there's one access road. So we drop, I want to say it's like 1,300 feet in 1.5 miles of our access road.
Wow.
But because you can only do minimal work to maintain it, it has a bunch of water bars in it. So you have to go over 97 water bars in that 1.5 miles too. So you literally are crawling to get out of here. So yeah, we are not as accessed to the world as we used to be. It's in the bottom of a canyon, and so we have Starlink, and that's how I'm doing all my magazine work and my emails and things like that. But you have to wait for the Starlink satellites to hit in the right spot because of the depth of the canyon too.
So even Starlink doesn't work all the time, huh?
Even Starlink is not perfect down here. No.
I thought that was like,
but it's great. It's
the solution for everybody.
It's like 80% the solution, but it is not 100% by any means.
Okay.
So the other day we had 2 rattlesnakes that the kids stumbled upon, so that was exciting down here. And
jeez,
we had a bear. So our water, it's all runoff, winter runoff that gets caught up, and then we put it through a filtration system now. And so we had a bear come through and step on our water line trying to get some water out of it the other day. So we had to go patch that up. It is really, really the wild, wild west out here.
Sounds like it. And just in case people haven't figured out, this is Danny from Full Cry.
Hello, people.
So your life has changed dramatically in the last several months. That's for sure.
Yes, yeah, we made that big move, and so we'll be down here on the Lower Rogue River for the next 6 months from now,
Okay.
and then we'll be back home mid-November. Spend the winter at home. We have to get out of here before the snow hits, or we're going to spend the whole winter here. So, but it's been good from a riding standpoint. Like the inspiration down here, we down here on the Lower Rogue. If you go take the boat tour down here, the next stop past us, and the next mile is Zane Gray's cabin. So I'm right in the land of the riders.
Nice.
The dogs, however, our dogs are sitting. They've been sitting a lot because nobody wants to let a dog out down here. There's no roads. There's a lot of mountains.
Be a lot of walking to go find them.
Exactly. We have an old dog that there's a ton of squirrels right in here, so we thought it'd be fun to just let him go poke around and see what he could find. And he decided he's a beagle cross, and just this little he's beagle whippet cross, and
that's
he's
Trigger,
just
right?
a fun little dog. But he Trigger, yeah, he's 9 now, right? So he's got the old dog I don't care going on, and he saw a deer and he tore up through the canyon, and Jason went to hit him and call him back in, and he accidentally hit delete. So then he was really tearing up the canyon. Apparently, you can recall it on a Garmin. We've learned this. You can find them back on your Garmin if you delete them. But that was our big adventure with Trigger. Other than that, there's been no hunting down here.
Well, it sounds like you got some pet deer and apparently a bear that was pretty close by.
Yeah, we have quite the pile of pet deer down here. They're pretty cute, though. So, but yeah, not a whole lot of exciting hunting news from us over here. Just trying to keep things going while we have our midlife crisis. And then the good news is because we're out in November, then we can spend all winter just hunting. So I think we're planning some trips to Arizona.
Nice.
And I don't know where else. There was talk of driving all the way to South Carolina this year in January instead of flying.
That would be fun.
But we don't have to do anything besides full cry, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Now, if people are interested in submissions, how would they still do that?
So you can always email me article submissions at danny@fullcrymag.com. And that information's on the website also. And if you call the Full Cry number, Amanda can walk you through it too. She's great. She's keeping things held down at home. So
nice. Yeah, I actually had somebody ask me about that today.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm starting to really look for material again for the fall and winter issues.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of ready to start my next round of those. So definitely looking for article submissions and pictures. I'm needing some new pictures that are not, no offense to my walker dogs, but I'm ready to put a different hound dog on the cover. So I would like to find a couple different photos that are not big game photos and not walker photos for to put for my next hound cover. So those are all things that I am currently in search of. Okay.
Well, I'm sure people will be flooding your email then. Hopefully they will, at least.
Yeah, right. Here's my pictures. And even if I don't use it on the cover, I might plug it other places. This last issue, we kind of plugged in a lot of extra wind photos, and that was kind of fun to mix in between some of our articles again.
Yeah.
I really like the feel of that. So
I really enjoyed the latest
fun
one.
Pictures. Yeah, I did too. It was kind of a smorgasbord, but it was feeling a little more full hound and tree dog, not just like, I feel like sometimes they waft between. I get a lot of content for big game, or I get a lot of squirrel dog content, or I get a lot of coon dog content, but I don't get them all at the same time. And this one really balanced out, I thought. So I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but thanks for all you do for us. You're one of my favorite. You know everybody. You always give me a good article.
I try. Speaking of which, I think my next one's due next week.
Next week, yes. Articles are next week.
So I need to get on that.
Which is also a good reminder to people that if you have puppies, now's a good time to put your directory ad in too, because they're due next week also. So if you just had puppies in the last few weeks, now's the time to send in your submission for that too.
And then that'll be the August issue, right?
Yeah, that'll be August, September.
Okay.
So it'll come out the first to second week of August is when it'll be in people's mailboxes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And we have room on those hunters directories to put one picture. So if you have, like a mom picture or a picture of dad, you can put that in there with your little classified ad.
I might have one.
You might have one.
Yeah.
Do you have puppies?
Got some on the way.
I'm living down here in the middle of nowhere, and I had no idea.
Well,
that's exciting.
There's been no post about it. I think I mentioned it once or twice on the podcast, but that's about it.
Oh yeah, see, we have no podcast download down here either. I am way behind. We have to go to town to download podcasts, and Jason does all our grocery runs and our staff runs. So I've only been out of here since May 5th for 60 hours total. So Jeez. I was out for 2.5 days, and that's it. Other than that, there's been no downloading of anything. I'm way behind.
Didn't you have a birthday
up
party
on his
too?
Downloads when he gets to town. Yeah, in that 2.5 days. Yeah, I put on that. I put out a youth hunting clinic. So I had 150 kids and did a hunting clinic with them, and then a birthday party, and maybe checked on my house, I think, and then ran back here.
You are a very busy woman, that is for sure. So I definitely don't want to hold you up, but I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. And if you guys are not subscribed to Full Cry Magazine, I absolutely love the magazine, and I am a little biased because I do contribute, but I think it's a great magazine. So you should definitely subscribe.
We appreciate it. Did you have the cover this last issue too? Is that why you said it was good? Did I give you a cover?
Yes, I did.
I did, didn't I? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. See, you are biased.
just a little bit.
All right. Well, I still have like 50 of those issues left. So if you call Amanda, she can get you a copy of that one too.
Good deal. Yep. It's for all of my podcast is a lot of Cur Dog men, so it is a Cur Dog on the cover, and not just any Cur Dog.
It is a Cur Dog on a cover.
It is an 8-time world champion jukebox series. So
it is. I you know what? I'm gonna have to bug him because he got Jason a jukebox T-shirt when he was at Automox last year.
Yep.
And Jason's been wearing it like every day down here, and it is looking haggard. I'm going to need a refill on my jukebox swag. So
I'm sure they can make that happen.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go.
Sounds good, Danny. I appreciate it.
But thank you.
So what's going on down in the world of conkies?
Oh, nothing. It's definitely summer. It's slower at the office, and we get a lot more done on the website and finding products. And I'll tell you what, June. This has been a record June, so that's good. We're extremely blessed to meet new customers every day, and it's good to have a little break because come August we're gonna be hurting a little bit. So
I remember I was in college, and there's a hunting store there. It's kind of like a Cabela's or a Bass Pro, but it's a smaller. I don't know. It's a family owned. Like, it is a chain. There's like I think 4 or 5 of them, but just still not the same size as like a Cabela's or a Bass Pro. But the one guy in there, I was talking to him. I was like, "Oh man, must be awesome to work here." And he goes, "No, it's horrible." He goes, "If you like to hunt and fish," he's like, "the busiest time of the year is when those things are in season." So he's like, "We're always slammed when you want time off."
Yeah, that's that. We talk about that same thing. So during the summer, we get like I'll be off Wednesday and have to work Saturday, but I only have to work 1 or 2 Saturdays a month. And during hunting season, it's every other week basically. So your Saturdays, if you're running deer dogs and stuff. Luckily, coon season's year round, and but yeah, I mean it's rough during the fall, that's for sure. And then when you leave work, you're so tired you don't even want to go coon hunting, even though it's at night. So
yep.
But no, we're growing every year, and shoot, I'll say it here first. We're actually working on building a new building.
Cool.
I don't think we've not publicly told that, so anybody listening, we're some of the first people to hear it. But bought some property across the street, starting on that. It's still a long ways off, but we're blessed. It gets crazier and crazier every year. So.
Now, will that be bigger than what you're in now?
Yeah, it's going to be quite a bit bigger. So
Okay.
it's just nicer. We've rented for a long time, and we've expanded. We're in a big warehouse, so we had 2 bays. Now we got 3. We've blown out walls. We've just our showroom's so packed. It's becoming time to move on up a little. Hopefully, my dad ain't mad about me saying this news, but we've kept it quiet. I'll just mention it. Might not work out, but it's God's plan. So we're starting the process anyway. But
that's pretty exciting.
I hope it's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. So we got a lot of. It's fun in the summer because we got a lot of customers on vacation, and they make a habit of stopping by the store. So we get to see people from all over right now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys have been adding a lot of new products. I mean, and it's not all, all exactly hunting related, but you've added some off-road products and some drones and some other and like that new truck. I mean, the organizer from Yoder's, it is hunting related, but not necessarily like boots and chaps, but
oh yeah, no, the 2 of the products, Yoder and Dan's. Yoder's came out with the seat cover and an organizer, and me and Corey got together and we sent them, we ordered one off Amazon or offline somewhere and sent it to them and said, hey, can you guys make this just like this, but kind of hunting related? And that seat organizer, that thing has been moving. They've been shipping them out every day. And
that's awesome.
But it's nice. I mean, my whole back seat, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. I always do these podcasts in my truck because it's the only quiet place around. I got the dogs inside and the kid and the wife, but my whole back seat's nylon. And but it's really nice. You can pull that thing out and clean it off easy. And the seat organizer, if my daughter gets in the truck, I'll just fold it over and lays another seat. And I had all my stuff in the back seat, just laying on the floorboard, rolling around back there, and that's been a huge hit.
Mm-hmm.
And my other favorite product of the summer, which this is a one of a kind. The first was kind of, I guess, Dan's came out with the hunting shorts, the briar-proof hunting shorts.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Man, when they first started talking about them, we were, I was kind of, I don't know, torn if they're going to be great, but man, I'm telling you, I can get a few wears out of them. They don't stink. They don't have a single cut on them. People worried about them being hot. Anytime you get briar-proof stuff, it's like throwing on a trash bag sometimes, but they're actually nice. They protect your whole, your upper legs, and then you actually have some breathability. We always wear shorts anyway, so instead of me cutting up 10 pair of shorts this summer, these should last me for, I don't know. They seem like they're gonna last forever, so we'll see. But so far so good there. So
no, and it also leaves you a little more protected than just a pair of chaps as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Dan's and Yoder, they both do a good job coming out with the new stuff. And but yeah, and then off-road gear, you mentioned that was more for local customers, and we shipped some stuff. But we got a lot of local hunters, especially during the fall. I joke with Corey, these deer dog guys, they push their truck to the to the edge, flying around trying to hit them. And you always need some off-road stuff to pull yourself out of a ditch when you get a little too crazy. And but 2 of the most exciting things, from Rhino Gear, that's the brand of off-road stuff we're selling. They got a portable shower, which camping and everything is great. Just to wash your hands in, it's got some good pressure to it. I'm going to get one here in the next week or so and put it in my truck when I go to the beach, just spray sand off of me.
Yeah.
And and then the other thing is they got a portable toilet, which that's something that comes in real handy. I mean, I won't even go into all those details, but yeah, that's been good. And then I know I'm rambling, but I know you mentioned drones too. Um, it was kind of slow when we first, started selling them, and they've really picked up. I think people are starting to realize that, you can't hunt with drones, but you can observe.
Yeah.
And it's nice if you got, hunting property and you're trying to figure out some of these patterns of these animals, and trying to figure out where everything is, and just see the woods in general. I mean, they're a game changer, recovering game. My dad and Jim at the store, and then Jonathan, they thermal hog hunt, and they've recovered several there. And Jim, he's actually starting a little business up, game and pet recovery. And he was out there the last 2 mornings looking for an 80-pound tortoise somebody had lost that had wandered off the property. So, but now Florida's kind of wild. So, them drones are, I don't know how many we'll see in the woods this year, but the next few years, I think you'll see a lot of them, flying up. And, but yeah, those have been, that's all been really exciting stuff. So
for sure.
Yeah. And it's, we're always trying to add new stuff. That's the whole thing. Like, I spent my whole last week trying to add a bunch of pet meds, for dogs and health and all that kind of thing. And
very nice.
But yeah, that's the key. And we're always trying to find, good people that sell good products that we can work with. And we want to sell it all, if that makes sense. We want to be the one-stop shop. So,
no, that's the one thing I do like about you guys over a lot of others, hunting supply companies, is you guys pretty much are a one-stop shop. You carry most of the major, brands of lights and briar-proof stuff. So just from a coon hunting perspective, you carry a lot of that. You pretty much carry everything we need, where other places carry, one type of light or one type of briar-proof stuff. But like I said, you guys kind of carry it all. And so you can come to your website, you can compare it. You guys have done a great job of putting out a lot of comparison videos or content about, breaking things down. I've seen some charts on lights, colors and where switches are and stuff like that, where a lot of other companies don't have that because they don't carry everything.
I appreciate it. Now, and here's something that I kind of think it makes things easier. Somebody calls. Let's talk about, lights, for example. Somebody calls and they've got a certain brand of light, but it ain't working for them. And, it makes it easy when we can ask them questions. Anybody that calls and asks for a light, we're not like cornered in where we have to push something on them. Say, this is the only light you can buy. It's the best light, we ask them questions like, what color do you want your main beam? You want your switch on the front or back? Bump cap, soft cap. A few of these lights, like the Razor Z2 and the Tall Timbers, they got USB-C charging. So, do you charge your stuff, or you forget sometimes? And it'd be nice to plug it in your truck. So, it makes it easy, and just like carrying Razor and Dan's and Yoder and all this different stuff. I may love something, somebody else may hate something. So, we really do spend a lot of time for the people that call, and we do get a lot of calls just, asking about vests, and we get to spend a lot of time with people trying to figure out exactly what they want and then pairing it with them instead of, just pushing what we got. We're not there to sell stuff. We're there to find people matches, I guess, almost. So,
yeah.
But no, we keep adding. And the big thing is, we're constantly testing this stuff out. Stone Creek just sent us a vest, and I just put it on the website because we finally got it in. I don't want to put it on before I knew, but it's going to be a game changer. And we constantly got to test this stuff, and that's the fun part, and learn about it, and not just sell you something, but sell you something that we think will be worthwhile for you. So,
yeah.
But
no, and you just talked about walking people through lights. I know that's a conversation me and you have had a couple of times, because I've got an older light, and we've had a couple conversations on for my next light, kind of which direction I want to go, and that's exactly how that conversation has went. You said, "What do you want in a light?" And I start describing what I have or what I like, and you're like, "Well, I point you to this here's a couple different ones, but I would go this route versus one of the other ones." So
yeah, no, and it's it's everything. We don't just sell Garmin; we sell Dog True. It's it's finding the perfect fit for people. I mean, that's it. And I don't know where I heard this from recently. I think Corey may have told me, somebody told me this, but you know, when you're selling stuff, selling products, and customers are looking for something, it's to make their life easier. And hunting, especially this time of year, and there's some rough places, like, you know, Florida's rough, but I know it's rough in other places. It's about making your life easier, whether it's, you know, comfortable boots or a lot that has everything you need, a tracking system, you know, longer antennas to get more range, supplements for your dogs. I mean, we want to make it easier for everybody in whatever ways we can, if that makes sense. So,
yeah.
But no, it's the best job I ever had. I'll tell you that. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people. So
yeah.
Sometimes I'll do these podcasts. I'll be so tired from talking on the phone all day, but I'm good today. So
Good.
But no, we're just enjoying the little bit of slowness, if you can even call it that. So.
Yep. So what do you got for dogs these days? I know you still got Charlie.
Yeah, no, I got Charlie. She's been doing good. I got her daughter. She's a Z pup. We've moved some dogs around the country recently, and got one in Indiana that I've got with a buddy I really trust, and he's getting them in shape, and he's gonna put them in some hunts. And you know, I know all these people talk about, you know, pups treeing coons at 6 months old, and that's what they want and everything. But we've got, you know, it's kind of a blessing. It's a team. We got me, my grandfather, and then Corey. My grandfather's got 3 dogs at his house, 2 out of Lake Round Rock, and then 1 out of some of our own stuff. And he's kind of raising them. And some people would say, "Oh, man, you're starting them too late." Well, it's kind of nice. He gets the puppy out of them, and we'll be ready to start them. And I've been focusing on. We got a little. He's out of jail cell, a little pup that's kind of intriguing, hunts really hard, and moves really good for Florida. So, but they're all walker dogs, so I know. But I'm not opposed to anything else. So, but you been hunting at all lately?
Heck no. I'm not crazy like you. I hang it up for the summertime. Yeah,
that's the thing. And we have a hunt tomorrow night, and we actually had a phone call. Somebody's coming. We had to cancel Friday. Some scheduling stuff, but I mean, it's so bad right now as far as hunting. I mean, they're moving during the middle of the day at lunchtime, and we're stuck in the office. And it's crazy. During Florida this time of year, it seems like when it's really hot all the way through, it takes them a while for these coons to start moving again good at night. I think in the next few weeks, maybe the next month, it'll kind of level out. But right now, they're moving unusual times. So, but you know, I mean, this past Friday, my wife made me go on a date, so I dropped my 2 dogs off with Corey's younger brother, my handler, as I joke around and say. But some guys drove down from Georgia, and anyway, they had they treed 2 coons. It took them about all night to treat 2. But if you're treating 2 coons in Florida during this time of year, you're doing okay. So.
Yeah.
But,
good.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on here, Zach, and kind of giving us an update on what's going on at Conkeys.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me as always, and blessed to partner with you. And you know, I don't listen to all these podcasts right at the same time I'm posting them and sharing them, but I do catch up, and I've really enjoyed your videos too on YouTube. So
appreciate it.
I hope people start watching them, because they're exciting. So you do a good job.
There's a bear hunt coming out this Friday, so
there you go. I'll be watching. That's something I've never done. I want to go bear hunting, and a lot of people invited me. So
come on, we'll get you in the woods.
There we go. We'll do it. So.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talkin Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.